Hey, welcome back, everybody. You're listening to Ultimate Affiliate Marketing. I am your host, as always. It's Paul Motley here, and we have another guest. We've got to the end of the weekend, and we have another guest, a guy that I've known for, now I'm going to ask him that in a minute because I can't remember, but it's been a while now, and there's been some crazy things happening for him. He's starting to make huge waves on the online market, should I say? And I can't wait to welcome you. RJ Ahmed, how you doing, man?
Hey, Paul. I'm great. What about you? It's been a pleasure to be on your show.
Oh, no, I appreciate it, man. That's good to get you on. Now, please help me out. I mean, I can't remember the exact number, but I'm pretty sure it's either like 18 months or 2 years since
It was on January. Yeah, it was on January last year.
Yeah, January. Right. Okay, cool. So please explain what has been happening to you from that very first conversation that we had. You know, where were you coming from before? You know, what were you doing then? And then sort of like, let us know what you're doing now.
Yeah, absolutely. I would love to talk about that. I would try to make this as brief as possible. So, when overall, I was born and raised in Saudi Arabia out there. Okay, lived my whole life over there. Since, the people out there are not from the entrepreneurship level. They work their 9 to 5 job. They love their 9 to 5 job, since mostly the immigrants out there love to that things. Okay, so like I was in there. I was also, teaching tuition with my mother, making $100 a month somehow, but, spending it on PlayStation games, these type of things. So it was like all form of liabilities out there. So I wasn't spending on something, a good thing, but, all of a sudden, like after like so many years, came to Pakistan, and then, different environment. It was like we landed on Mars, complete different environment, complete different people out there. Thing was completely different. So for us, it was like a little bit crazy. So, I've done my second year out there, but after I done my second year, I didn't got myself the admission in the university. It was like literally crazy. Being in the Asian family and you don't get yourself the admission is, that is absolutely the craziest part, get taunt and all of those things. So throughout the whole time out there, suddenly I saw the ad of Shopify. And since I saw Shopify in the past, so I had the little bit of idea what Shopify was. So it made me more, intrigued, so that I need to do a little bit more research. It wasn't that I was searching like other people do, how to make money online, something like that. It wasn't like that. It was all of a sudden, but it was the perfect situation as well, because I wasn't doing anything. Okay. So I saw Shopify, what Shopify is. At that time, I saw Sebastian Gomez, and he have a lot of history with all of those things out there. It is absolutely crazy. So like I saw Sebastian, I got the idea of the things, hey, what Shopify, what e-commerce and everything is. So like I have full store set it up, but then I thought about, how will I get paid? There need to be some way that I will get paid as well. Like there need to be some way. So I got to know that Stripe wasn't available. There wasn't PayPal in our country. Don't know why it happened, but it happened ultimately. So, figured out, saw the video again by Sebastian and all of those things, how to create LLC in the United States, how to have EIN number, finally created Stripe account, finally launched the store. And there was a time for launching my own store, I didn't have the money again, because I've spent whole of the money. I had $196. It was out when I was forming the LLC. So it was done. For me to get raised, because I also needed money for subscription, for ads, for the rest of the fulfillment part. So I reached out to I did the Instagram story. My friends reached out to me. I talked to them. I provided them 30% of my equity for $200. At that time, it was huge. It was like, I needed the money, because I was letting them know, this is the next big thing, this is going to be crazy. But that was drop shipping. Anyone who start out, especially in their journey, they think drop shipping is easy, but it's hard as hell. So many things need to care of, and people don't care about, because they saw the gurus with their Lamborghinis out there, So
oh yeah, I mean, I totally get that, because anytime you go on like YouTube and that, it's like, oh yeah, you can just do this, it's super easy and all that, but the reality of it is tough out there, right? And you got to seriously work at it.
Yeah, there are so many things that need to be done. And I launched it on Black Friday. And for me, it was like, Black Friday is biggest day for e-commerce stores out there. And I was like, okay, so if they're making 6 to 7 figures a day, I might make 6 figures or 7 figures a week. That should be the max time. Okay, it should not exceed by then. Okay, but it was wrong product, wrong targeting, wrong copy. Everything was literally wrong, and everything was messed up. So like throughout the whole time of my e-commerce, I wasn't able to sell anything to an unknown person online. The things that I had personally, I was selling to my friends, to other people out there. And throughout the whole time out there, I was listening other people talking about the concept of funnel. Like, you put them on the sales funnel, all of those things. I was like, what is a funnel? Like, is it some type of thing that is used to filling up water, filling up oil tanks? Is it something similar to that? So, and that is a common thing, everyone think about what is a funnel is with
Oh
that
yeah.
perspective.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So at that time, I saw the post on Instagram. Hey, this man have made like $3 million in 90 minutes. His name is Russell Brunson, founder of ClickFunnels. And I was like, okay, now I can, correlate something with funnels and all of those things. And that was the thing when I got to know about funnels. And like that was the best thing what happened, on January, when I got in touch with you and I signed up under you for ClickFunnels trial. And you know and and if people don't know about that, when I got in a call with Paul, that was the very first time, I got on a call with someone who had native English. Okay, so for me it was huge. I had inner good experience. I'm talking with a person who have native English, but I didn't have the confidence to speak. I was like, I didn't have the confidence because that was the thing. I was, and it was exact same room. Okay, it was on the other side, but it was the exact same room. I was in a call with Paul. He was talking about, he was helping me again. Paul, like, huge thank you. Okay, because at that time, if you haven't guided me, I might never gone up to the part of the funnel or where I am currently. Like literally, I owe this to you, because in the
That's
initial
cool.
start, if someone says,
Hey, look, man,
in the
you're
initial
doing
start,
it. You're doing it. This is the cool thing, and this is why, you know, being able to impact on other people's lives is so important to me. And I remember that phone call. I remember exactly where I was.
yeah,
I'm fairly sure it was like a Saturday morning for me, and I was sat in the car park while my kids were off doing soccer practice. And at the time, I was getting quite a few people contacting me about X, Y, and Z because of what I was doing at the time. And I remember our conversation. We were on the line for a while as well, and
yeah,
it's funny when I look back on it. It was almost like, okay, right. So this guy, he wants almost like a reassurance that it's going to be right for him, And in my heart of hearts, I knew how powerful it was. And the more we talked, the more I kept thinking to myself, this guy's going to do well, and it was a tough
yeah,
one because I didn't want to come across as pushy, but I was almost like really excited for you to see where you were going to go with it and how far you'd going to take it as well. So when you actually signed up, I was super pumped about it because I just kept thinking, okay, right, I'm just going to sit, this is going to happen, and I'm going to watch and see how it goes. And to be honest, man, you've far exceeded expectations. You are absolutely crushing it right now. So just tell me what you've got going on right now, because we're talking like nearly getting on towards 2 years down the line. So what's been happening over that time?
yeah. So when I got in touch with you, and when we finally got into ClickFunnels out there, and you know about it. I'm in an Asian country. If I go and pay for ClickFunnels out there, that is $97 a month. Okay, it's like 16,000 rupees. That is something a person who's living in Asian country can pay even for their whole rent of the month. Like I was paying for my whole hostel dues. And when I made my first sale on on March 9th, because I truly remember the date, that was unforgettable. Okay, first sale, absolutely, it was crazy. So at that time, like I was in a call with a person out there for like an hour and a half, and he needed the bonus of Sebastian Gomez affiliate mastermind. That was a course, at the time it was like on the peak level. So that person needed the course, and then that person needed the course. I was like, hey man, I have this course. If you want to have it, just sign up for one funnel away challenge. It's going to be crazy. It was like, cool, let's do this. Boom. Like he finally bought it. I saw the $100, okay, on my dashboard. I was like you serious? Like I made $100 in a day. That is what I spent in a whole month, and it is huge. It was like, the point where I break my false belief. I was like, okay, if I can make $100 in a day, I can make even more. And the best part was, on that day, I saw something that was literally crazy for me, and that was eye-opening. I saw Kevin Steven, okay, and at that day he made 100 OFA sales combined. It was 100 sales. And I'm like, if I didn't know about Kevin at that time, but I saw him at that time, and on the exact same point when he made his 100 sales, I was like, if that person can do that, he's a human. Okay, he's a human. Literally, he can do that. Like I'm pretty sure I can be able to do that as well. I know I can do that then.
Yeah.
No?
Yeah. I mean, with Kevin's thing, Kevin's a great guy. I love him to bits, and he's been
Absolutely.
on the podcast a couple of times, and we talk a lot. And for him, it was almost like the whole term, like a crowd follows a crowd. He put something together, and people wanted it. So all of a sudden, then people were saying, "Oh, I want to be able to promote this. So what's the best way of doing it? Or has anyone got like a super cool bonus if I join?" And everyone was saying, Kevin. It was loads of comments like that. And really without knowing or like, I don't want to give the guy a disservice now because he'll kick my butt, ex-Marine and all that. But it's sort of like it went on a whirlwind and completely took off for him. There were so many people coming in and buying from him and then recommending other people to buy from him as well. So, success follows success. And now that I see, looking back on it, I can see like how well you've done and the things that you're doing now as well. And this is like you're now building your audience, your following, that people are now starting to recognize you. They're starting to see what you're doing and thinking, actually, this guy's got something. Let's go and see what he's got going on and see if we can be a part of it. So I noticed that you've been doing a lot of interviews yourself, especially through Facebook. Yeah. Now, you've managed to get hold of some pretty serious names on that as well. And it's, I think it's completely admirable and impressive to a lot of people. And this is probably why your own influence is growing, because you seem to be like an amazing connector. But what gave you the idea in the first place to actually start interviewing other people?
Yeah, that is a very good question, by the way. So, at the initial start, when like even in One Funnel Away Challenge, there's a concept of Dream100 out there. And also Russell Brunson keeps talking about the concept of Dream100. And like when he was talking about those things, he also talked about one of the best way to get into eye of your Dream100 is to interview them. That is the best way, because there's so many things happening up during the process of interview. In the initial start, you're approaching them, and then you are with them in the backstage, you're doing interviewing, and then you're doing the rest of the follow-up and all of the, repurposing of the content. Again, you're in touch with them. So I felt like that is so much valuable out there if I be able to do somehow. And there was again a barrier, the big domino, because again, I haven't saw many Asian people came up and go for these guys out there like Spencer, Steve Larson, other people like I never saw. So for me, it was like, okay, if I'm stepping in currently out there, I might be the first person who is massively doing that and being a part of Asian country. Because, like through the whole time, like from the past like 5 to 6 months when these pandemic hit it and all of those things, what I tried to do mostly was I tried to create my brand using other people's brand, leveraging other people's brand, and I created my own brand. And then the second thing what I wanted to do was what's happening into the other markets. And for me, it was like completely blue ocean, because over here, no one knows about the concept of funnels. If you see right now into the market who are understanding the concept of funnels and they're from Pakistan, 99% of them are my students. Because the reason is I've created that concept. I was like, you guys need to learn this. Okay. And that is the initial thing, because this is the way I did the seminar. I did the webinar just to make them understand the concept. It wasn't like just an awareness. I just didn't want to do that. Awareness is completely different thing. I just wanted to make that thing happen to them.
Yeah.
So that was two main things I was completely focused on that point.
And I think you'll probably agree that, especially when oh gosh, we're standing on such a fine line now as far as political correctness goes. But I've noticed this extremely in the UK, for example, right? A lot of, oh gosh, it's a difficult word to say. What should we call it? Let's say Caucasian, okay? Right? Okay. We're lazy.
Yeah.
Right. And, you got to wait until when you've got to work for your, and you've got to work hard for food, right? That is a massive motivator. We have it way too good in first world countries.
Yeah.
Seriously, we are spoilt something rotten. And I'm not generalizing here. And, it's a sticky wicket, because I don't like talking about politics. I don't like talking about religion, because, it's massively polarizing, and you can suddenly get, hey, look what this guy said. And all of a sudden my name's plastered all over Facebook for being this, that, or the other, right?
Yeah.
I'm saying from perspective, like, generally speaking, you find really, really hard workers from massively motivated people. And I think a big motivator is for people that want to try and improve their situation. And sometimes when things are given to or seem to be so easy to attain, then that is kind of like not so much of an incentive. Whereas if you go to more of a third world country and you give someone an opportunity, they will fight tooth and nail for it, right? So I totally get where you're coming from there. I mean, your students must be, some of the hardest working people that you've ever known online, because they're hungry for it, because they know what a difference it can make. A couple of $100 in a single day can be a huge, huge thing. And, some people, especially like in the Western world, take it massively for granted. And, this is, we're getting into global politics and stuff now, which again, I didn't really want to go into, but I appreciate the difference in lifestyle and the difference in opportunities that people get. And when I see, especially like yourself, on how well you've done, hats off, man, seriously. And I just think you're crushing it.
Appreciate it.
You are out there, you're getting these incredible interviews. And even though I've been lucky enough and fortunate enough to do and got some, really good names for the podcast here, sometimes
we got you as well.
Oh yeah,
awesome. We got you.
That's right. I mean, I will reach out to people and I'll either get crickets or I'll get a no thanks, we're busy this year. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, what? It's like, okay, cool. All right. Yeah. Move on to the next one. But you're absolutely crushing it. I mean, these people are coming on and they're, giving their time freely, and, and it should be an inspiration to a lot of people that this sort of thing can happen for anybody, no matter where they come from, their background, their advantages or disadvantages. And this is why I think it was so important to get you on as well, just to get that polarity almost, because it's so easy for someone just to say, okay, well, I'll work today or I won't work today. But if you have to work today, that's a huge, huge difference, right? Sorry, I'm rambling again.
Absolutely.
I do this shit. Right. So tell me, what have you got going on right now and how can you help other people?
Yeah. So like currently, the more things that I'm focusing on currently, since I know that is one of the most important aspect of traffic, is the Dream100. Okay. Because, the thing is, like, since Dream100 is one of the most important concept, and if people don't know about what Dream100 is, that is, that you're trying to create a relationship with the people out there, like 100 or whatever the amount of people are who have the target audiences that you need. They already have the target audiences. So mostly they are influencers. And if you've heard about that, there are only two places you might have heard about that, either from Russell Brunson's books or his challenge, or from Dana Derrick's itself. Or the third thing that might be in the very first sense that you heard about is from Ultimate Sales Machine. That is the initial start what Dream100 was. So right now, like, I'm more focusing on the Dream100 itself. And crazy enough, that I was doing my exam and it was like 8-hour long exam. I was like freaking tired. And all of a sudden I saw like Dana Derrick sent you a message. I was like, there's no way. Okay. There's freaking no way that Dana is going to be sending me the message out there. That must be a fake account. I don't believe it. I haven't opened the message at that point. And then I got the notification, Dana Derrick accepted your friend request. Since I've sent him the friend request for like a year long and he accepted. I was like, oh my God, like, you serious? Like, there's freaking Dana Derrick,
And this is the person who wrote the book on the Dream100. And all of a sudden, this person is coming to you and sending you a message, right? You must have been blown away.
it was like that end, he have books, he have events, he have coaching out there, and that is literally crazy. He reached out to me. It was like, hey man, love how you're successfully doing Dream 100. And I'm like, damn, this is it. I don't think so. Okay, like I need any other validation apart what are the things that I'm doing. It's nothing that out of the unique way, but what people do mostly with Dream 100 is they read the books. They're like, awesome, that is a cool thing. But they don't know how to implement it. They never know. Not everyone out there able to implement Dream 100. So the way that I've created the masterclass out there, that was complete implementation. And apart from that, because I wanted to see what are the ways that people need to implement these things out there, because it's not like I'm doing all of those things by chance, or we approach to the guest out there and they do yes by chance. Getting consistent people who are like on A level are not by chance stuff. We have awesome lineup for now. Like we are interviewing Blake Nubar. Then we have lineup of Rachel Ashley, Alex Sharfin, Marley Jacks, Rachel Peterson, and so on. Like these are not people by chance. These are co-related people, and not everyone say yes. But there are some things, there are some implementations that people need to do in order to make these things work. And what I believe interviews are one of the best ways. So I'm letting them know, apart from you implementing Dream 100, how you need to structure the interview in such a way that you create a relation with them, because they do hundreds of interviews. They need to remember yours and with you. That is so important aspect.
Yeah,
for
totally.
For me, one of the craziest part that happened like few days back, the crazy thing what happened was, like when I interviewed Catherine Jones, it was like second time I interviewed her on my show. It was second time. And after that, she sent me a voice note. Hey, thank you so much for having on your show. It was literally awesome for like being the second guest. Like having a voice note that is completely personalized, funnel hacking live speaker. Like she was literally everywhere, and you get such a voice note. I was on Google how to download Messenger audio. Like, is there any way of? Because I just needed to download that. I wanted to have this happen. That was insane experience. So mostly like I'm focusing on the masterclass, and the rest thing is automation. How to automate that? I don't want things, because I love, and you also love automation, because it's about that way that you can simply scale things to the next level. I just don't want things to be happen like I'm going for every single person one by one. I want to do these things on automation so that it can go for bulk, and then I can do the follow up, and then I can do the rest of the fulfillment part, and they need to be automating things so I don't forget these things out there. So that is the thing I'm most focusing on, the Dream 100 Masterclass.
That's awesome, man. That is, I mean, like I said, it blows me away to see how well you're doing. And
Yeah.
like I say, when I'm trying to book guests, and I mean, Catherine was a perfect example. I contacted her. In fact, I probably should have gone through the email, but I didn't. For some reason, I tried it through Facebook, got crickets. And then the next day, she's there on your Facebook Live. And I think I came on actually as well myself. And I was like, hey,
Yeah.
kept virtually waving, going, hello, I'm over here. But, it was awesome, man. And again, some of the guests you're getting on is, they're proper rock stars in their way and the means. And it is awesome that they're given the time and coming on, because again, it's leverage. And you do find it is a little bit of a domino effect, because you've only got to get like one or two, and all of a sudden, the dominoes start to fall. And I remember getting Brian Delaney on, and I think I probably asked him like 3 times. And every time that I did it, I sent him the stats of my downloads. So eventually it piqued his interest, and he was like, okay, right. So I could get on the Ultimate Affiliate Marketing podcast, because he's getting like several thousand downloads a month. That'd be good for me. That is where you've got to position it. You've got to think, why should they? What are they going to get out of it? And that's kind of like what makes a difference. And of course, in some cases, it's been like, I will name drop when I'm asking, say, oh, previous guests include X, Y, and Z, because, they might be
absolutely
their circles as well. And that makes it more interesting. So if I could say, okay, well, I've had, like you said, Blake Nubar's been on, Brian Delaney's been on, Dean Graziosi's been on, I can start quoting all these different names to people, and they're like, get that little bit of like, oh, well, I want to be in that club. I'm in the club already, so I want to be on the podcast too. or I want to be interviewed
Absolutely.
by RJ because these are the people who are doing it. And I guess it's difficult starting out, which is why I think it's so important that if this is something that, and if you're, the people that are listening, if they are interested in getting this sort of thing done to push their own brand and their own influence forward, then I think that's really important to get in touch with Ahmed specifically and find out through his own masterclass on how they can start doing it too. Now, we are going to drop some links. They're going to be in the show notes. RJ is going to sort that out for me as soon as we get off. And what's the biggest takeaway you think that people are going to get from being on the masterclass itself?
Yeah. So, what I believe is the biggest takeaway that they will get to know about is, like, first of all, they will get the complete implementation checklist. Now they know what they need to know and how they need to implement those things. Because like the main three things that we are covering up in the masterclass itself are like essentially what is the Dream 100 in the detailed discussion. Like they need to know what is the Dream 100 completely. Second thing is what we are discussing is how to ethically Dream 100 while being the part of the tribe. You need to know and understand those things. So how to ethically do that. And the third thing, what we always discuss is the do's and don'ts, because you don't want to mess up with a thing out there and then you will like, I messed up, I messed up with the person. I wasn't supposed to do that way. People need to avoid those things, because ultimately, if you are somehow getting attention, we should get good attention with the person out there, because you need to have those relations with the person out there in the long term. And apart from that, we have some other modules. As I said, interview is one of the most important thing when having the aspect of Dream 100. So like I'm adding the new module called Interview Secrets out there, where I'm letting people know how to do the things from initial start to the end. But one of the craziest thing that I realized within the past few days, like yesterday, as far as I remember, there was a guy who wanted to be having me doing an ad for him in my own show for like a minute. And he was like, for beta, he was paying like $150. For normal, he was ready to pay $500 for just 1 minute ad within my interview. And for me, it was like, now I'm getting the idea why, because now they're not leveraging me alone or my show, they're leveraging the guest as well.
Yeah.
Because people are getting the attention and all of those things. And I'm like, if I do one show and people pay me $500, 10 shows is like 5,000. And what I'm doing the exact same thing, nothing unique. Speaking more 1 minute, it's completely fine for me. I can do that. Okay, it's completely fine. That thing was crazy.
If you, most radio stations have advertising, and that is one of the way that they drive their business forward is through ads. And that's how they get to pay for their guests that come on. And obviously when people are doing radio shows and they come on as a guest, most of the time they've got a product that they're pushing and they're trying to leverage the audience of the radio show. But the radio show and the hosts of the show are all paid through sponsorship and ads. So, it's naive to think. I mean, even now, looking through the settings of the podcast that I've got going now, I can add spots in, and I'm thinking, do I really want to do that? But then you think, okay, well, not right now, because you can get all commercialized and that. But I mean, if I get to the point where I'm doing like 200,000-300,000 downloads a month, then obviously that's going to be attractive for people to come in and say, oh, I'm just going to pay you $1,000 to drop an ad in, and things like that, which is cool. But it's not probably something you're going on about when you start with. But I think it's great that you're still doing this, the masterclass, and you're still thinking on how you can improve it for people and how you can push things forward. I mean, is there a specific website that they can go ahead and get this from you anyway?
Yeah, absolutely. They can go for the Dream100masterclass.com, and then they will be landed up on the auto farm, because I'm working the sales page currently. So they just need to go for the Dream100masterclass.com.
Awesome, man. I'm going to check it out myself. That is a killer domain as well. So it's really easy to remember. So the Dream100 masterclass.com. There we go. We've got it up. And again, it's the 100 as in digits. So the Dream100 masterclass.com. Make sure you go check it out. Make sure that you go ahead and purchase it. Not just because Ahmed's on right now. I'm not just saying that to butter him up, but I'm saying that I think it's super important that people start implementing rather than just continually learning. Yeah, get out of the learning
Yeah.
phase and start implementing to push their own success forward, because that's what I've seen Ahmed do, is absolutely crushing it now, right? So RJ, thanks for coming on again, man. It's been a blast. I love talking to you, man. It's always an eye-opener. I feel completely humbled and thankful that I've been even just a tiny, tiny piece of your journey online, and I wish you all success.
Thank you so much, Paul. It's always great to be on your show and getting in touch with you every single time. It always gets me excited, you know, whenever I get in a call with you over the show. Like it is crazy. Again, thank you so much.
No worries, dude. And like I said to everybody, just brief recap, because we do this repetitive bullshit all the time. If you're listening for the first time, make sure you go ahead and subscribe. Sorry, RJ, we've got to do this bit, right? So hit the subscribe button, drop a rating and all that good stuff. Check the show notes to make sure you go to the Dream100 masterclass.com. Check out what RJ's got going on, because he is there to help you and push your journey forward to as same as we all learning. So that is it for today, and we'll catch you all again tomorrow.